Hi everyone, welcome back to 15 Days of SQL. This is the very last, unfortunately, the last session, but actually, not why would it be unfortunate? We've all come through a long way and we've learned so many things, added so much value, and hopefully progressed in our data analysis journey. So it is not fortunate, but it is exciting, right? And I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, this entire playlist, if you have made it through till this very ending video. And I am so proud of you in case you've had. So today we'll be continuing what we did yesterday, that was performing a case study, which will give us a better idea of how things work in practice. So in practice, it's not just you are given a particular question and you need to formulate an SQL query to solve it, but it is more of you have been given a whole bunch of data and a problem, a very broad problem. Now you have to draft questions and analysis in a way that it could solve the problem at hand. So that's what we'd be doing. If you've not checked out the previous video, I recommend you do that, where we started with exploring the data a little bit and performed our initial exploratory analysis based on some hypothesis or assumptions which we made, some speculations which we had regarding the data. Some of them turned out to be true, some of them turned out not to be true. You can check that video out in the live chat. I have written down all of the points which I thought could be useful. So that's there. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Akriti. I work in the data domain. And I'm a 21-year-old obsessed with SQL. So that's something about me. I'm also a part-time content creator, mainly on Twitter, and now I've started here on YouTube. So thank you for joining me. Hope you get some value out of it. And let's get started with our case study. So for people who don't know yet, we focused on two main questions yesterday. And those were the pending users, how are the pending users distributed, and we found out that the number of pending users, that is the number of people whose account has been created but not activated yet. So that is not very significantly, or there's no peculiar trend in it for the particular time frame which we are trying to analyze here. It has been similar to that of last month, where we saw exceptional growth. So that was something which we initially speculated, but it is now ruled out. The next part is the sign up process. Here what we saw was how many people on average have to trigger the engagement type, like they have to engage with the platform, right? And how are they engaging? So they are engaging in different formats, like they can like the message, or they can send the message, they can log into the home page. There's uh, loads of things you can do on a messaging platform. So we were focusing on users who are repeatedly doing the sign up flow. Okay, sign up flow is the initial process of onboarding the user to your platform. According to the described data here, you can look at this link and you'll be able to see what kind of questions are we dealing with. Hi Chandan. And yeah, so that's that. And we got that from the data, that sign up flow is something you do when you are initially getting onboarded to the platform. So I thought that if you feel that a user has to do this process multiple times, it is obvious that they might get frustrated, because if the sign up process is not very smooth, the whole point of a platform is to get your client on it. And if that process is not very quick, very efficient, very smooth, obviously your client will get frustrated and opt out of it. Because people have an attention span of a goldfish these days. And if something is not working within milliseconds, they are just going to look for better alternatives. So this was what we did. We grouped by the user ID and checked how many times did they trigger the sign up flow process, and we saw that as high as 4 times. A lot of users, like 3,680 users, which is close to 20-25% of the whole database, had to trigger this process, and that was not something ideal. So this was one problem which we found from the data at hand. And now we'll slowly be moving forward to exploring different tables available in the data set and then getting some answers to our questions out of it. The third query helped us see how have things changed from the past month to this month, location wise, language wise. So the trends were pretty same. They did not give any distinct result. Next, what we did was we tried to see that what was the list of users which were active particularly in the year, sorry, in the month of July, which was a higher grossing month for the company where it had a lot of active users. And then what we did was we removed all of the users which are still active in August in order to get the users which were active in July but now opted out of the platform or are not active due to some reason. So now that we have the user list, we know what kind of users we need to target and analyze. Because once we don't know that what is the user base which has problems, then how would you able to know if there's a particular thing which is going wrong with a separate location, separate company, or separate side of the product itself? You need to know what is the user base you're targeting, no matter where you are. If you're doing business, if you're doing content marketing, whatever you do, the first thing they advise you to do is make sure you have the user base you are targeting with the product which you are creating. Okay, thank you for coming to my TED talk. So yeah, so we got a list of users, and then let's see what is the like actual count of users which opted out of the platform after July. So select count star. Subquery in from must have analyze. It does have analyze. Oh, the brackets have not been closed. Happens, people, happens. Make all of the mistakes you want to, just know how to fix them. Oh, apparently I didn't. So yeah, I added an extra bracket. No, I did not add an extra bracket. Okay. I hope we are good to go now. At least, yeah, it has succeeded. Okay, no errors this time, people. So we have 2,643 users. That is a huge amount. Who people who were active in July and are not active anymore. So now that we have a list of users who have not been very active yet, so let's give this entire result analyze. So we are able to refer to it. So we'll say with, and we'll give a table name, say inactive or churned. So churn, we'll say churn as. What it will do is it will give this entire query, whatever it was returning, which was the list of users which opted out of the platform after sometime in July. We will be using it further by the name churn. Cool. Now what we should do is, now let's join this particular churn with the rest of the data available to see what is the particular trend in data which it is following. Is it distributed across all of the categories, or is there a particularly targeted category which is getting affected the most? Let's first go with the language chosen by the user. For that, we'd have to join this with the tutorial yammer.users. Let's copy that. We say select star, no, select user ID and then the location. We'll do that later. Yeah. Location, and then we'll do count of location. So that. Okay. Yes. Now, how we need the location? We need the location of particularly those objects or users which have uh, which are in this churn part. So we need to say that take out the locations from take the locations from the table tutorial yammer.users, and then what we'll do is where the user id in I'm not sure if this will work, but say churn dot user id. Not sure if this will work. It did not work. Syntax at or near churn. So churn does not work. However, since we have selected it, we can use it just this way. Or we could have joined it, but I was too lazy to. That is my bad. Select location. Looks like something's wrong with me or my query. So all of this is done. Then why do we have an issue? It does not need it. Okay. I thought Postgres did support this table alive thing. I don't know why it's not working in mode specifically. No. Select location. Oh, location is not a table itself, I feel. It's language. That's why it had problems. So don't mix up columns. Don't be me. Language was the column in this table. So we still have issues. What is the issue? Please tell me. Column yammer users dot language must appear in group by clause. Of course, that is what I forgot to do. Group by one. So how will we get the count if you're not grouping it by one? Silly me. Now what we did was, for particularly the users which are in our churn list, that is the users which opted out in July, after July, we are seeing what are those users. Okay, let's first order it by 2, so we are able to see the highest first. So what was their language preference? We'll be able to see if there's a particular language which was not supported well that made the users opt out. Maybe English, Spanish, French, German. I think this is the same distribution as we saw yesterday of the whole table in general. So I don't feel like there's a particular language which is specifically like affected. So this possibility is ruled out. Let's rename it that there was no language barrier by the app people. But there is something we're definitely wrong. We'll see what is wrong. No language barrier. The location barrier, whether there was, we can see. We will just do this again, which is the whole filtering process for our churned users. To see if there's any location which is particularly getting affected. No. The locations are also very, very similar to how they were in the entire user base without the churn. So even this is not the case. I mean, it's not necessary that all analysis leads to a result. Some analysis is just to make test of your SQL skills and your patience. So no location barrier either. Now let's see, there's another table which we have not been using yet, which is the email events. And so what kind of, okay, we have one more type left. We had language, location and device. So device is left. Let's make use of that and see if there's a particular device getting affected. Device. It is an Yammer events and it conveys what kind of device the user is using to access the particular thing or the platform Yammer. MacBook Pro, Lenovo ThinkPad, MacBook Air, iPhone 5. Okay. So Nexus 5, iPhone 5. There's a lot of phones here. There's only 2 laptops, however, 3 laptops, but everything after that is phone. Okay, now from here we again have desktops and this is alarming. Let's see if the entire distribution is this way or not. We'll just get the select device and we'll take the count. Don't mind the Yammer events. And then what else do we have? What else do we have? We have yes, we have to get the grouping. So we'll group by the device ID and then we'll order it in the descending order of how much trouble they have been giving us. So this could help. This should help, I feel. Took too little to load. So MacBook Pro, MacBook Air. Okay. So you see how the distribution of phones are not as high. They rank pretty low. But when analyzing the problem of churned users, so you see how many users have churned it. Distinct user ID. So you see iPhone 5 ranks high, Samsung Galaxy 4, iPhone 5s, Nexus 5, iPhone 4s and below is less. However, here when you see how many users use each type of how many users use each type of device, you see that phone users are not as high as they are as a percentage of the problematic, like the people who have been facing problems. So iPhone 5 is high and then Samsung Galaxy 4. That is one thing. If you would appreciate if you can repeat use of except once again. Okay, so what except does is, it is a sort of minus. Okay, so how you have, like, if I say that I have 3 boxes, one is red, one is green and one is blue, and I say everything except the blue one. So what I'll do is I'll take everything I had and remove whatever I said after the except word. Similarly, how SQL treats the except clauses, it will include everything present in the first select query, which is occurring on top, and then remove however it intersects from the second SQL query. Whatever is common between those is removed from the first query, and it is presented to you as an answer. So it is a more of a minus operation between sets. I hope this answers your question, Subramanian. Let's now focus on a new table which we had, which was emails, because we should be making use of all the data we have. So email events, what they do, generally these apps send emails to notify you about whatever is happening, right? Be it Instagram or YouTube, if you have not, or Quora especially. If you've not been using the platform for long and there's something happening on the platform, some notification or some message, they will try to ping you with it. That happens a lot, I feel. Not sure if that has been the case with you all, but I feel that social media apps want you to get back to them, and whenever they want that to happen, they send you the email listing the summary of whatever has happened on the platform while you were gone. So let's see from the emails what we have. Select star from, what is the table name here? Tutorial.yammer emails. Okay. Let's first take a look at what the data has, what kind of tables it has. Okay. So what we have here is that we have the timestamp of when that email was sent, and then we have the timestamp of what the action was. Let's get a closer look at what are the action values. Sent, weekly digest, email open, email click through. Okay. So I feel click through is when they are actually clicking on the email and going to the platform back, and email open is just opening the mail. So let's take a distribution of how this is. So action and select, sorry, count, distinct, user IDs. I'm trying to get it for particular users, how it is. And then group by one, yes. Now let's see how it is. From what the data says, we should have three types of values. Yeah. Oh, we have 4 types of values. Email click through and sent weekly digest, sent re-engagement email. So the difference between re-engagement, weekly digest means that the user was delivered a digest email showing relevant conversations from the previous day. Email open means that the user opened the mail. Email click through means that the user clicked a link in the email. Okay. So when we are focusing on click through, it is a little less than how many people have opened the mail, and once we sent the weekly digest, re-engagement mails are getting sent low, I feel, than the weekly digest. So that might be one thing which the company could work on, that the re-engagement mails. But then there's also like they need to make a trade-off, that they don't want to spam their users, at the same time they want their users to come back to their platform. That is always there. Once we get each count, we now know that okay, still a significant amount of users have been getting it, but this is for the entire distribution. And what we want is, we want it particularly for our month of August, where the distribution was really low. What we'll do is, to combat that problem, we'll filter only the entries which have their month as August and year as 2014, and that will help. That will be performed by this extract date function, correct? Um, we don't need this. We don't need that either. Matching brackets is a huge deal, especially when you have tons of them and you can't even use. Like in math, we could use square bracket, round bracket, and that curly braces, but here you can't. Okay. So we see that a lot of weekly digests have been sent. Emails are getting opened. However, the click through is very less, like around 30%, 35%, as opposed to the total distribution, which what we saw was that there were a significant amount of mails getting sent, and most of them, close to, I feel, 85% of the mails had a click through rate. However, here we see that that is not the case. Oh, why are we having Okkadat here? Oh yeah, Okkadat is the table here. Okay. So what we saw here was the click through of the mails is very less. So even though people are getting the notifications from the platform, they are not very interested in opening the link or going back to the platform. So this digest thing which they have been sending the mails, they need to work on that part, make either the wordings more appealing or add a call to action that the user feels motivated, more and more motivated to go back to the platform and interact with, because it is certain, right, a user has a lot of things to do, and if you are informing them about something, they are opening your mail, they should feel motivated enough to go back to the platform and interact if it is useful enough or the mail is persuasive enough. So this is something which the content marketing or copywriting team could focus on, that improve the click-through rate by sending better mails, better notification mails. Because you see, if it is very less, we know that even though people are getting the mails and they're opening them, they still don't feel good enough about clicking on it. So not recommended for a good sized company, and that is one takeaway which we've had. So to sum it up, we know that the sign up process is difficult and the single user has to trigger the sign up process as high as 4 times. We have seen that the CTR for that particular month is very low as opposed to general distribution. That is, the people don't feel motivated enough to go back and click on the mails and enter the platform. So that is something, the whole structuring of the emails and what kind of emails for what type of notifications are you sending could be improved. And then what else? Do we have any other? This is just periods, how the periods start. I don't feel it is necessary in any way. If you feel it is necessary, feel free to perform any analysis regarding it, and tag me on Twitter and help me with this. But I don't feel that it is of much use for my level of understanding what I could get from the analysis. Let's see if we have anything else. The device usage we have, and yeah, let's get the device usage for this particular month. What is the query number 5? Oh, what is the EMR events? Improve CTR, very important. Because I felt there was just these categories, that is how the sign up process was, and if people are pending, if it's a bug from our side in that particular time period, if there's any language bug, language related bug, or location specific bug, then next thing I'm worried about is the device, whether the device support is bug ridden or not. And after that, we had how the emails are being received. That in that we saw that the emails are not getting the click through rate which they should be getting or they were getting in the previous time period. So that is one thing which we found out. And in that period, we, I mean, I don't see any difference from the usual distribution which they have. So I don't think that even this is an issue. If you feel like it is, please feel free to let me know. But other than these, all these categories, I do not think that there was anything else which could have gotten the, or yeah, I mean, we have the mails and the users which are not opening the mail. So now we can see if what kind of device are those users using, right? So we'll need to further dig upon that particular mail problem, that where is the problem occurring. Okay, so let's get the users for mm, which are not actually clicking through the mails. So how can I get that? Or let's get a general distribution of how the device works. Not sure how to get ahead with this. Although I did see here was that even when we are removing this thing, okay, we are not filtering it for the said time period where we faced the problem. So फिर this we have 4,111 people who have received the digest, and then when we see for our time period, I feel that this weekly digest thing is something which has been just introduced today, right? Like in this particular month. So we see that maybe there's this new digest thing. All the number is same. So this weekly digest thing is what we saw, that it has been particularly introduced in our August 2014 when this whole problem of low active users occurred. So I feel weekly digests are problematic, and this is something which we can improve on. So those are the takeaways from my side, that the CTR can be improved by improving the wordings of the mail, and the sign up process could be made a little bit fast, rapid, smooth for the onboarded first time user. And the next thing is the weekly digest definitely has a problem because it has been introduced just this month and it has caused issues. They might or might not be related, but that is something to ponder over. That is from my side. If you have any other insights, feel free to let me know. And that's it from me. Thank you for joining me on 15 Days of SQL. I hope you had a nice time. See you.